Do you think it is a bubble or are we just getting started? So do you think we are focusing more on betting or just sportsbook rather than having more into predictions? So when you are positioning something as a trust engine, but then there is a news like that there is already an insider. So how do you sell this narrative that it is still a trust engine? Jim, everyone, welcome to EMunchained. I'm Sagar. Today's episode is going to be very different from the previous one. We are going to have a deep dive on prediction market, which is the fastest sector in Web3 right now and possibly the most understood as well. We are going to unpack the real data, the Vitalik bombshell that was dropped last week, and why it has been glorified as a gambling tool, and does it have a deeper meaning to it? So we are going to unfold all of this. So stay tuned. Yeah. And my guest is Esko. He's the founder of Hedgehog Protocol. Hi Esko, how's it going?
All good, thank you, and thanks for having me and having us. And yeah, I can definitely relate that like prediction market it's like one
Yeah.
of the most fast-paced thing, and I think just that has been ruling the narrative for some time, not just like in crypto, but like in even in macro in general. Like it's a big conversation. So yeah, very
Yeah.
looking forward for this discussion.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Me too. Yeah, I'm sure we all are, right? So Hedgehog is basically building something fundamentally different from Polymarket and Kalshi that you have already seen. And I want to pressure test it in some way to see if it is holding up. But yeah, we'll have that conversation for the later part. So welcome to the show. Before we get into Hedgehog, I just want to have a larger picture in mind and state a few facts. This particular sector did over $60 billion of revenue in 2025 alone, which is 4 times of 2024. So my real question will be, do you think it is a bubble or are we just getting started?
Well, I think kind of both. Think that like yeah, of course, like every new narrative, it's always a bubble at first. Like
Yeah.
people are kind of all FOMOing to that same narrative, and like it's kind of almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy, kind of. It's everybody saying this will be huge and this will be huge, and then it's kind of just collapses. It's but in this case, the use case of prediction market is so wide because it's based on people's opinions. Like it's not just one market. One person can have like a 500 opinions per day. That's kind of an endless
Yeah.
amount
Yeah.
of markets what you can create, where you can debate, and also that like you can debate on things. Like it's kind of a taps in human nature. Then you have that gambling element to it with sports betting and like but like in short answer, in a sense, yes, I think it like is a bubble, but not kind of a bubble which just bursts and go away.
Yeah.
Like I think it's in some form, it's really kind of here to stay.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. Because it's obviously based on, as you mentioned, it is based on predictions or the opinions rather. Obviously is not going to burst because we all have our opinions. It's just that who is going to, our opinion or, stay away from them. So yeah, talking about the numbers, I'll just continue a bit. I'm sure you have heard those report as well. I think Kalshi they processed over $20 billion in 2025. But the major factor is they more than I think 90% of it they came from NFL season, whether it was football, or 90% it came from that particular NFL season, right? So do you think we are focusing more on betting or just sportsbook rather than having more into predictions?
Yeah. So I think like now these are correlating with each other. Like we
Hmm.
have the sports betting inside of the prediction markets. And in my personal opinion, this is a single point of failure of prediction markets. Why is that sports betting has been around forever.
Yeah,
Sports betting is a huge industry. It's
yeah,
one of the largest industries like in the world and through the history. And when you are kind of competing with those kind of traditional forces, and when you really start to hurt that industry, and that
yeah,
industry is a lot more powerful than like prediction market or anything. They just can start lobbying inside of governments or like do whatever and said, okay, now just, regulate this. We don't want
Yeah.
this. And this is
Yeah.
what is happening. Like I said this like out loud in a few events in Hong Kong,
Okay.
this same thing. And like when we kind of came back from Hong Kong, and was it like 2 days ago, some politicians just, posted that, okay, now we need to kind of a deep dive and see like, do we need to regulate, this sports because it was exactly like I thought, like there, it's kind of a, you are now affecting a revenue stream or somebody who's very powerful. So that's why in like when we are building our own market, like we don't want to basically in this context be involved with sports betting, but it's like I really see that that's kind of a single point of failure on prediction markets.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think the prediction market was sports betting rather was the easiest way to pivot maybe
Yeah.
because it was very easy to think that if you talk about prediction, you talk about who is going to win or who is
Yeah.
going to lose, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. No, that's like a perfect like use case for it.
Yeah,
It's totally makes sense, and it is predictions. You are doing that exactly the same, but you are
yeah,
not doing it on Polymarket or Kalshi. You are doing it some
yeah,
other platform, but then there are you calling it betting, and here you go and predicting.
yeah.
But yeah, and that's kind of the very big narrative to kind of pull people inside
Mm, mm,
of your product. But yeah, I think that at the end of the day, we really need to kind of separate these
yeah,
two.
yeah, yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, talking about another giant of this space, obviously the one that actually started the prediction market phrase, that is Polymarket. It has been, it has been stated as a trust engine of
Mhm.
the web3 people or the people rather, right? I think there was 94% accuracy in their election polls and all those stuff, which was great, right? But recently I think you must be following this. There was Venezuelan insider news that happened and somebody made I think 400 of it even before the news came out, right? So when you are positioning something as a trust engine, but then there is a news like that there is already an insider, that is working on it. And recently, I think it was also banned by a few developed countries, right? I think Singapore and France and Switzerland, right? They banned it, right? So how do you sell this narrative that it is still a trust engine of a common mass
Mhm.
after seeing all this?
That's a very good question and a really good point. And I think that whenever you rely on third party on some or human interpretation of like interpret how the market is resolving or what is happening, you never can call yourself as a really truth layer. Let's,
Yeah,
for example, Venezuela, but a different case. Like some months ago, Venezuela got bombed and the president of Venezuela got kidnapped.
yeah.
Okay, and simultaneously you have a market on Polymarket that
Hmm.
will Venezuela be invaded on like certain dates. So
Yeah,
now, was this invasion or not? Like, so there's like, this is just kind of that kind of interpretation. Somebody say
yeah.
that this is invasion, it's clear invasion. You bomb country, you invaded country, you took a president. What the fuck? That is invasion. But
That is all subjective, right?
yeah, exactly. But then you take like, what is definition on invasion? Okay, that's not really the definition. So that there's like a when like I said, whenever you rely on third party, it's can never be like a
Yeah,
trust layer of it. Then like the countries banning it, I don't like. I don't know. Do you know? But like, do they all have like a same reason to ban? But did
I
they all
think it.
have like the same reason, or why
Yeah,
did they like ban? What was the like the in?
I think
What,
they had multiple reasons. Some of them they flagged the Venezuelan part.
Mhm.
Some of them they were flagging it as a betting source of
Mhm.
people wrapped as a legal app somehow, because some of those countries that banned it, they are also banning esports betting and all those stuff. So
Mhm.
basically they are looking it as a esports betting alternate. somehow. So I think that could be the reason.
Yeah, but I think the being like a trust layer and comparing some country banning that, it's not kind of affecting for you to be a trust layer. Maybe some countries have a incentive to kind of not amplify a trust layer. Maybe they want to send their own narrative. We are living this information war where information is
Yeah,
kind of you getting it in every direction, and
yeah,
there are incentives what people and governments and forces want to push to you. And if you have one platform
hmm,
which where you can check what is really happening, which is really like the sentiment, maybe that is just kind of a threat to somebody, and you want to
yeah,
disguise it. Okay, oh no, these guys are like giving away bets, so let's ban them. There are multiple reasons like to do it. But I'm not like defending that and saying that yes, that like prediction market is totally kind of a 100% trust layer and we are final, we are ready, like this is
yeah,
how it should be. No, it has its flaws. Of course, you can manipulate markets. You
yeah,
can kind of do many kind of false things to it. This is every step of those is a fixable by the builders who are building these platforms. Everybody
yeah.
can, you can kind of cement those holes if you want. So yeah, like you have flaws, but yeah, it's
I think
basically
it's a process that is happening, and people or projects rather, they are pivoting to something and seeing where the use case makes more sense.
yeah,
And since
exactly.
since it got majority of the revenues from betting and also from the elections, I think it got called as a betting alternative, because
Yeah,
as I mentioned, 90% of it is coming from betting. Lack of clarity of the narrative
yeah.
of prediction market, maybe. Yeah, I think maybe with time it might get clearer with projects like yourself that are presenting a different picture of how prediction market can be utilized for different uses rather
Mhm.
than having just a casino or ebooks or polls, right? So yeah, I think it will mature, right? With the help of people like yourself.
Yeah, let's everybody try to kind of
Yeah,
do our parts and try to kind of build products what people want to use and people can rely to
yeah,
use.
that makes sense.
And it's always good to have this kind of outside feedback and this kind of limitations and like regulations.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, that
kind of
makes sense.
and
Yeah,
it keeps things honest.
yeah. True, true, true. Moving on to, we talked about esports. We talked about polls and all those stuff, but we never talked about you know it being inflated, because we always think that whatever is happening, they are being done by people. But there was recently a stat that was put out by, I think, Certic. They mentioned that up to 60% of the volume that is happening on poly market, it has been flagged as artificial volume.
Yep.
So do you think it is giving you a NFT 2021 vibe? Because
No, no.
when you inflate it so much,
I think this is just normal market sentiment. This is normal kind of this where the trading comes in. Like
yeah,
all the volume are fake. Every volume, like every single like volume in exchanges, like are fake. They're used by with market makers, amplified, with market makers. It's just kind of how the entire this kind of industry works. Even like capital markets, everything. You have these market makers who are doing these artificial volumes.
hmm, hmm, hmm.
It's and prediction markets are not any different from that.
Yeah, and then that also makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, I think what you mentioned is almost true, that we cannot have 100% of the volume as real. Obviously,
Yep.
when there is a narrative that is being built, there are people or rather engines that are working behind it to make the narrative clear. So yeah, which is not hidden from anyone. So yeah, I understand.
Exactly, and that like in prediction market, even though the volume is fake, but it's not like it's the same as like pump and dump schemes.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
yeah, it's volume are fake to kind of amplify the numbers of those platforms, but which are
yeah,
not affecting like the real traders on
yeah.
the on you know
There's still a base, right? That we are working on, at
yeah
least. Unlike the NFTs where you can just print. some
Yeah,
JPEGs and start bidding on it.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
that
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 was
that,
fun.
that makes
Yeah, but those, but still, those were fun days.
yeah. How many NFTs did you had? Did you had
Oh,
any board art,
like I
board
saw
ape, or
thousands.
any
Like
penguins?
I've, yeah, yeah, I would say like if I count them in thousands. Like I have
Oh, wow,
a lot.
wow.
Yeah.
So you have been trying and testing all those trends that are coming up, right?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you know, but when the NFT season came, there was really much to do before in crypto in general.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
kind of the first of the smart, one of the first kind of a smart and fun initiatives what you can do with crypto all of a
It
suddenly.
was the most fun part of crypto
Yeah,
till now.
exactly, exactly. Yeah, and everybody were kind of some collector, and
Yeah,
nobody was
yeah,
in it
yeah.
for
They
the
were all flaunting
money.
their images and
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I'm really, really love this neon colored dog. Like I really love this. I'm a collector.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun back in
Yeah.
2021 when the prices were also high, right?
Yeah.
Not like what is happening in 26.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that was fun.
Exactly.
Cool, cool, cool. So, coming back again to the prediction markets and what people have been talking about and all those stuff. I'm sure you must have read about Michael Lewis. He was the author of Big Short, Moneyball. I'm sure you must have heard
Mhm.
about it. Recently, Kalshi, I think they proposed a sort of I think he they started an ambassador program or something like that in the college campuses
Mhm.
where they were indirectly encouraging people to know more about betting,
Mhm.
so or trading rather, and that's what they called it. But that was immediately, tore down because of the backlash that it faced, right? Do you think we really need to set the narrative straight? Because it has been, I think, almost 1.5 year. So I think in crypto perspective, 1.5 years, they are okay, right? Whenever you are, starting a new niche. So do you think we really need to set ourselves apart and build a proper narration on what exactly is prediction market and what it is not?
Well, yeah, of course, we need to differentiate. Like, I think also for ourselves, what is like prediction
Yeah,
market? Where goes the
yeah,
line between prediction market and betting? Yeah, and I read, yeah, that they made like some lobbyists and they lobbied in schools about it. Like,
yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, and of course, like,
Or
it's
maybe do you think we are targeting a wrong niche? Maybe when we are targeting, college students. Do you think it's a wrong
yeah, of
niche to
course. No, of course.
target?
No, that's not like that's not a cool thing. But of course, that's not
Yeah,
a and
yeah,
in any means that you shouldn't like do it. But if
yeah,
you just kind of think of it that okay, prediction markets are doing this, Kalshi is doing this, and like nobody else. But that's not like true. Whenever you have an
yeah.
industry which you have
True,
money, there are like a bad actors who want to
true,
kind of
true, true.
there are pharmaceutical companies who want to push bullshit vaccines, or there are like
We
there
we
are
all have we are
yeah,
we all,
yeah, yeah, and like and you have like a food, industries who are pushing fucking
yeah,
sugars and artificial toxins, to people and
yeah,
say this is good, eat this for breakfast. So basically, they are always when there's money involved, they're always kind of this kind of bad actors. But I think
yeah.
to kind of go lobby to school that let's go gamble, that's not like
Yeah. It's just that they are making so much money. They are in the spotlight that
yeah,
everything that they are doing, they are being accused of, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's also a part of it. Yeah,
Mm.
I think speaking of the narrative, I think Vitalik, I think last week he tried to basically set his expectations and his views on how prediction markets are going on. He also mentioned about the increasing popularity, which is okay for him, but he also thinks the same way that we are still comparing prediction market with just betting, which
Mhm,
is a dopamine shift from betting to predictions now.
mhm.
So my question again will be, I think he mentioned about three type of people that should be targeted, or three type of models rather. So in his opinion, right now we are just targeting the naive traders, which is exactly my point. in the previous question as well. Are we targeting the wrong people here?
Mm.
So what was your reaction to Vitalik's views?
Yeah, I think at this moment, like the product market fit and the for prediction markets are the gamblers. Gamblers are your kind of customers who are kind of using that in a short term prices. But I think in crypto in general, like there are possibilities to prediction markets to become a, like, let's say if polymarket can become a truth layer of something, of kind of a people sentiment. Prediction markets can become a truth sentiment, for example, like a hedging of something. Like
Yeah.
if you create a market, let's say how we are doing like for base fees, for funding rates. You create a long-term markets for that, let's say 2 weeks, month, few months markets. Using that data, using that sentiment, people who are involved with those parameters, with those costs, they can use that sentiment as their own hedging tool, meta all kind of a knowledge. How will they do that hedging? There need to be kind of a better infrastructures to build
Yeah.
support for it, but to kind of have that idea that this is kind of the sentiment now, and this is the one use case where like crypto prediction markets could target
Yeah.
and should target. And this,
Yeah.
and this is, I think, like in tweet before this about prediction markets, Vitalik tweeted about the same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I was following his tweets and his views, which are always very interesting.
Mm.
Because he gives a very very different perspective of everything. I think he also mentioned a very interesting point of view. I'm not sure how far we are from that. He mentioned that prediction markets, if we have a lot of prediction markets in every spaces, every baskets or pockets rather, we can replace it with a use of banks or a fiat, because
Mm.
we will be having all those baskets where we can hedge ourselves accordingly. And at that point of time, there will be no need of fiat because we will be hedging everywhere. So what is
Yeah,
your thought?
yeah,
Do you think we can achieve that?
yeah,
Maybe in 5 years or 10 years?
no, like I really think, and I really think we will, is for those kind of people will not be using those kind of use cases. It's like will be AI agents using these hedging solutions, these baskets, like instead of us
Yeah,
for
yeah,
us. Like you are not the one who is hedging there. So like if you think in the context of AI agents and like what is happening in the entire kind of a tech and coding and AI scene. I think that's like very, very possible scenario.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was very fascinating to even think about that when he talked about all those baskets and all those stuff
Yeah.
that can maybe replace fiat in some time. Maybe. I'm not sure. But yeah,
Well,
it looked good.
yeah,
It
but
looked
like
good.
I will not go like so far that will be replaced.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. I think
Bitcoin still haven't replaced like fiat. I think we like
exactly. Exactly. We have been replacing fiat for last at least 12
yeah,
15
I
years.
think we all agree that it should be already kind of be replaced, but it's kind of look that's so
Yeah.
let's do like let's give like our like grandmaster Bitcoin opportunity to first replace the
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then
That also makes sense. Yeah.
follow up with prediction
Maybe the
markets.
second best it could be the prediction
Prediction
market
market. Yeah,
replacing
exactly.
the fiat. Cool, cool, cool. That will be a very fascinating place to be in. Yeah, certainly. Cool.
Yeah.
So, okay, I think we have talked about. Let me switch on the lights. Give me a minute.
No worries, no
Yeah,
worries.
yeah.
Yeah, go. Yeah.
Just give me a minute.
No, go.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Can you switch on the lights? I was having a call. Yeah, no. बस light थोड़ी dim हो गई मेरे room की. Yeah, that will be nice. Yeah, thank you. हाँ, मैं बंद कर दूंगा. Thank you. I think it is back to normal. Cool. Can we start now?
Yeah, let's go.
Cool. Okay. So I think we talked about, prediction markets, whatever is happening, the numbers, Vitalik's views. Let's talk about Hedgehog now. How Hedgehog is building, based on whatever has happened in the space already. And how are you positioning differently from all the, popular ones that are already eating up the space?
Yep, good question. So basically, we are not trying to compete with poly markets and
Yeah.
Kalshis in the space. What we are launching and what we are building and built is a prediction market for on-chain metrics. So
Mhm.
basically, it's a prediction market where all the data is verifiable. So it's a base fees, it's a funding rates, it's basically every metric. It can be indexes, it's a asset prices, it's basically everything which is verifiable, which doesn't rely on, third party or some human interpretation to say is it like right or wrong, or like
Yeah.
it's or API smart contract, integrations, which is kind of a deciding those settling and deciding those outcomes. And there are like fast-paced markets, so it's not like a days, weeks, months. It's rather like seconds,
Okay.
minutes.
Okay.
How you
Okay.
resolve those markets.
Hmm.
That is like our first implementation. What we are pushing out is like V1. V2 is a totally new frontier, which is called participation market. I can't go like bit more deeper to that, like what that's kind of keeps inside, but I can open up that it's kind of like a hybrid of a prediction market incentivized with a participation inside the market on top, and on top of yield. And that is
Okay.
kind
Okay.
of V2 implementation, which is then like I said, totally new frontier in the prediction market space.
Okay.
We actually like, for a fun fact, we started to build prediction market at the same time with Polymarket back in the day. Yeah.
Okay.
But our story ended that like we grew significantly back then, and we got acquired fully 2020.
Oh,
So
wow.
basically that left us with hunger to kind of innovate something new in the space. But yeah, we were like the one of the first, if not the first, to implement and
Nice.
come
Nice.
with the prediction market to the space.
Nice. So you mentioned about all the parameters that you are tracking and where people can predict on. Who do you think could be the ideal user for this? Is it
Yeah,
is
for
it going to be the builders that are hedging, or maybe
no, like
to
yeah,
track all those numbers, or who do you think would be the ideal user for your project?
yeah, for this, like the first model, the V1 is a basically any crypto degen.
Hmm.
Everybody is affected with some kind of a volatility in crypto. Like
Yeah.
even though you're a sophisticated user or you are like one-time user, you still have some kind of a effect on some kind of volatility. So
Hmm.
basically, anybody who is doubling down in crypto and is a bit of a gamble can
Hmm.
because they are like short time frame resolvents. So it's kind of a fun to use. Uh, it's like it's fun to use, and it's like very intuitive to use because like it's very
True.
short
True.
time frame. So this is basically our ideal user of the V1 implementation. But in the time when passed, when we introduce a longer time frame markets, then there is a possibility of hedging, what I just discussed. Then of
Oh.
course you need to just kind of amplify the infrastructures to kind of accommodate how that hedging would see. But then you have like a sentiment, so what is happening inside of the block space in 2 weeks or in a month or whatever.
Hmm.
And yeah, but then like the V2 is a tapping all us who we are in crypto, some kind of our native desire of like meme coiners and predictors and like whatever you have in the space. This is kind of a hybrid of like people, and we see that this is like totally missing from the
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Cool. Do you think people like Polymarket or maybe Kalshi, they will be entering in your space with a shorter time frame prediction, or do they even care about it?
Yeah, of course. Like, why not? Like, if like at the end of the day, like people are not in Polymarket on in Kalshi because they love Polymarket or Kalshi. Like you are there where you are making money. You know.
Yeah, yeah, true,
Yeah.
true.
If you if you have like a good possibility to earn something, you are using that platform, no matter
Mm.
what's of the platform.
Mm-hmm.
And like we are not going after those are kind of a convinced users of Polymarket and want to do elections, predictions. Like this is are not our kind of a customer. But yes, Polymarket, for example, has a 15-minute time frame Bitcoin predictions.
Yeah.
These are very good users like, for us as well.
Yeah, true. I think they also launched their 5 minute something
Yeah,
like
and 5
that.
minutes. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just recently, right? Yeah, cool. I think you're launching on base, right? When is the launch due? Do you have a
We
timeline?
go soon on testnet.
Mhm.
And public like launch mainnet launch is scheduled to be around Q next quarter.
Okay, got it. So if I could ask you, what is the plan for, let's say, starting from now to let's say reaching to a million user, considering your niche, right? Since you are not associated with predictions, you are not associated with esports, anything like that, which usually attracts users, right? Since you have a very different niche, very smaller niche, if I could say, as of now, compared to all those niches, what is your game plan to, let's say, reaching from 0 to 1 million users from now?
Yeah, good question. So basically, for now, is all about to establish ourselves in the space, and that is
Mm,
what like the V1 is doing. Then we kind of have our first base layer of users,
mm,
grew a good number of community.
mm,
And then when we kind of announce and bring to public knowledge that new model, what we are pushing out for the prediction markets, totally kind of a new narrative. That is tapping the really thing what is kind of making now people excited. Like you
mm,
don't get people excited launching a new DEX,
mm.
or new prediction market. You need to kind of show something new. And so basically, when you have already established a user base and like a good following base, when you introduce something really new and something really excited, that kind of a base elevates you to the
Yeah,
level kind of a people learn from you, and they kind of are your amplifiers. And when you have like a new narrative, totally new, frontier, this is
yeah.
when the new people will come, and then kind of there you go to those million users.
Cool. Got it. So you mentioned briefly that you are looking for people that are a bit degen in nature, people that are basically trading a lot of memes and NFTs and all those stuff, because this is where all those parameters,
Mm.
matters a lot whenever you are minting all those stuff. That makes sense. So is this the reason that you started that Clipper campaign that you just did a couple of weeks back?
Yeah,
How
I think
how
I
was the
think
experience basically?
no, I think the Clipper campaign, which we started, is a new evolution of like the marketing efforts. What you can do,
Hmm.
basic KOL marketing doesn't work, anymore. Nobody cares about somebody shouting at like one time your name. Like
Yeah,
those days are, over. Like
yeah,
nobody cares about that.
yeah.
But when you incentivize people to create content about you, and you incentivize them to create as valuable and good content, what kind of creates traction, and you incentivize people to more traction your kind of content is getting, your payout is compared, to that.
Hmm.
So this is for us. We get good exposure on social medias. There are people creating content about us, and there are people incentivized creating good content about us, because
Hmm.
nobody cares about any AI stuff. Or so it is, you have like a 17 views on Twitter, and you don't get incentivized for that. But if you reach for thousands, some thousands like views, there's already kind of a first threshold to payment. And yeah, that is like one of the steps to grow to a million people, because million users, because like people need content to share, content to consume, and we are now making sure that the content is there and it's findable. and will be final.
Understood. Yeah. So, what type of user base do you think could be the ideal user base for you? Do you think Web2 users will be interested in something that you are building because the parameters that you have set, or the things that you are basically predicting on your app or project rather, is something that is only known by people who have traded or done something in Web3?
Yeah.
Do you think you need to educate those users first, or how does it work? If it's a classic example in my opinion, because whenever you are, especially in Web3, whenever you are launching a project, you are kind of educating some people, right? And in that process you lose a lot of user bases, because obviously they need a quicker way to make money, not get educated. So how is it going so far from on your end? Is it working well? How do you plan to tackle that?
Think like there are a ways to bring prediction markets to Web2 people in this same category like as we are doing, but it's not through like our own platforms. You need to go like where that Web2 user is. It's sitting on, on online casinos,
Mm, mm,
those kind of platforms, and create products for those platforms which use you as a as a backend.
mm.
And that's maybe small alpha what we are what we are doing, but yeah, I think that is like the kind of organic bridge to like
So you're basically looking for people that have a dopamine liking, yeah, because that is all about prediction markets, and
exactly.
especially in your case, since the time frame is even smaller, the
Yeah.
dopamine levels rises
Yeah,
or lowers at that
exactly.
same.
And like that world what I was just describing, like the time frame needs to be like next like even like shorter.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Do you think where all these people that are coming in, the institutions are coming in, CFTCs and all those things that are happening in the space? Do you think there is a compliance gap that is happening, or do you think they will all be regulated? I think we mentioned about all the countries banning it. How do you see prediction market when it is getting matured be in sync with those countries?
I think when those countries will set a clear instructions what is betting, what is predicting.
Hmm.
Like we can just build products, we can just build a what people want. We can give that. We are builders. This is what we do.
Yeah.
But it's not our job to regulate ourselves. It's our
Hmm.
job to be compliant on the regulations, but we need to have clear guidelines can be done and what can't be done. It's easy as like
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Uh, I'm sure you must have been deep down in the prediction markets and all those use cases. Which use case did excited you the most, apart from Hedgehog, obviously? You don't have to name any project if you don't want to, but maybe.
No, the use case, no, the I which really excites me as the most of how would I describe like this what it's like the effect on the like real effect on maybe humanity is
Oh,
like
wow.
the truth layer like part
Hmm,
part
hmm.
of it. The fundamental thing that you can have platform which really reflects like a sentiment of a group of people, not just a poll who kind of is okay. This 10,000 people have answered this, but then who kind of made that poll knows like exactly where he will, ask
Yeah,
the
yeah,
10,000 times that kind of a question. So they're kind of not like fake. So basically, that use case to kind of be a universal layer for people around the world to kind of
hmm,
have a opinion, maybe on the subject, on the United States elections.
yeah,
Until now, you only could get kind of you polls you see on TV and which are kind of harvested on the certain group of people in a certain country. Now you have kind of the sentiment. Does that sentiment really then affect really on the case? Because like my opinion or like on the presidential elections in United States don't have any weight on the real presidential elections, on the United States. But like if you just kind of put it like in general context, not maybe in bigger philosophical questions like in the world what we have, and kind of have sentiment around those opinions that could be used. Why not? Yeah. Yeah, I got like a good. Yeah, I got,
I
I
think
got
we got carried away, but yeah, it's interesting to
I got very good. I got like a very good idea. Yeah.
maybe after this,
Thank you.
maybe
Yeah,
after this call,
yeah. We're going to
podcast,
discuss this.
we don't
Oh,
want to
yeah,
share the alpha too
yeah.
soon, right?
We need to discuss this as well. But thank you for the rebound. Thank you for the rebound. This is good.
I hope I get the share out of it.
Yeah. You can be my co-founder. Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
Cool. I'm DMing you right now.
Yeah. Let's go.
Great. Cool. If we go by, let's say, what Vitalik said during his tweet, about maturing markets, about how we need to, set our narratives on apart from being a ebook or sports alternate. How do you see, let's say, if I talk about 2028, how do you see it evolving, and in what direction do you think it will go? Do you think it will go, or do you think money will be the main driving factor, which is what is happening right now?
I don't think like why do we need to kind of pin anything? Like why do we need to choose the side is the kind of a prediction market? I think that is the entire point of the prediction market, that it can be whatever. Why do
Yeah.
we need to say that? Like of course for the if we go back to the like regulatory like aspect of it, like of course there you need to kind of differentiate. But if we go like for the more point of the Vitalik, which is totally different angle where coming from, like why do we need to kind of say, okay, prediction markets are for betting or for dopamine or what? No, fuck not. Like prediction markets is it's the sense of it that it can be whatever we want it to be. It can be our feelings, it can be our thoughts, it can be our anything what we want. So I don't say like that we need to label it
Let it
somehow.
flow. Let it flow.
Yeah.
Let's see where it goes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense, because again, when Vitalik is saying all this, he's basically driving it to some other place that he
Yeah.
thinks could be the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, but I of course like I understand his like thoughts and his point of views, that you kind of want to have like a maybe clear niches like inside of industry. Okay, this is DeFi, this is prediction, this is like ding ding ding. But like you really don't have
doesn't
to.
have to be so
Fuck
sophisticated.
that.
It could be fun as well, right? Yeah,
Exactly.
that makes sense. Yeah, talking about fun, I think we already had so many hard hitting, heavy questions. Let's have some fun questions
Okay.
without overthinking and see what comes out of your mind, right?
That this is like normally not the funniest one to the like what.
These are the hardest ones, right? Yeah, cool. I'm gonna ask it anyway.
Okay, let's
Cool.
go.
So I'll start with the first one, right? I think you already talked about it, but I'll ask it again. What is the biggest lie in the prediction market?
That Polymark is generating a huge amount of revenue.
I think we proved it. I think we proved it already. Cool.
Yeah.
So do you think prediction market 2027 it will be bigger than NFT 2021?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Like NFT 2021 was just crypto niche. Prediction
Hmm.
market global like phenomena.
Yeah. In a good way. In a good way.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Polymarket in one word.
Speculation.
Speculation. Yeah. I guessed it.
Yeah.
Kalshi in one word.
Regulation.
Okay. Hedgehog in one word.
Velocity.
Velocity. Yeah, that is a good term to define it. Yeah, definitely. So Vitalik says stop building corposlop. I didn't even know what it meant. What is your response? What is your response? I had to Google it.
I don't even know that, like, but like I would say like just let me build what corpus slop that I want to build. Like
Cool.
it's
Yeah.
it's my prerogative. It's my decision.
Let's see how the users response, right?
Yeah,
Because that
maybe
is the ultimate.
maybe idea what I just have for corpus slop will be the name of the.
I've already sent you a DM. I've already sent you a DM. Great. So Okay, one metric that proves Hedgehog is actually building or onto something, and it's not just a white paper.
Like one metric,
One metric, one pointer that can prove it.
people discussing about it.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you going to events, like I was in Hong Kong, just kind of saying hi, like which company you're from, Hedgehog. Oh, you're from Hedgehog. You know? Every time it amazes me to hear like that, like kind of a building inside your own niche. You kind of okay, we have this many followers. Like, okay, you're not kind of considering to be any known, but when you go this IRL events, you're like, okay, we're Hedgehog, and like if majority of people say, oh, okay, I know Hedgehog. You know,
That's
how
great. That's great.
nice,
That's what you
always
want to
amazing.
hear, right? That's what
Yeah,
you
yeah.
want to hear as a founder.
Exactly. And as being like a humble Finnish person, like it always like amazes.
That's how it should be. Great,
Yeah.
man. Great. Cool. So, what is the biggest Web3 marketing mistake that prediction markets are making right now?
Biggest marketing mistake. I think is the sports betting. I think that is coming to bite your ass, like coming back to back, you know.
I think
Bite
they, I think there was a glitch. Maybe we need to
Okay,
ask.
yeah, because I have a glitch as well. Yeah, when you ask the question, yeah.
Yeah. I was wondering why you are sitting like this. Did I ask you something wrong? I was just wondering.
No. All good. It's because
Cool. I'll ask it again. Okay.
yeah.
So yeah, what is the single biggest Web3 marketing mistake that the prediction markets are making right
Sports betting, like marketing as a sport platform. I think that is coming to like back and bite you in the ass in like big time.
now? Okay. So if you were to build a prediction market again, what would it be on apart from what you are already building? And
Like
apart
in
from what you just thought about?
yeah. Oh, sorry. Like what about it will be
Yeah.
I don't know. Parenting.
That is also interesting.
What
That
do
is
I do like this? Yeah. This baby has been crying for 2 hours. Like give milk. Like I don't know. Shake him. Do something. Cuddle him.
that is an
Yeah.
interesting take on prediction market.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. Exactly.
When will the baby poop?
Yeah, exactly. There's good for parents.
Cool. So if a Web3 founder is listening to you right now, what advice will you give? And he's into prediction market.
Mhm.
What advice will you give in terms of marketing or in terms of narrative setting or what advice basically would you give?
Pick your niche. Like don't be afraid to pick your niche and stay on that. Like even though it's like a fraction of a majority, of the bigger narrative inside of the space. It doesn't matter. Like the only way you differentiate your from bigger ones who are in the same kind of a category as you is that you
Yeah.
have your own niche. When you establish your own niche, then you can start to build on that with the same kind of a niche with your kind of a bigger competitors will have. But kind of establish yourself first. Don't be afraid that like, okay, this has almost zero kind of attraction or but it doesn't matter. Just kind of establish yourself and like kind of build on top of.
Great, man. Great. So I think I had a great time
Me
having
too.
a conversation with you, and I'm waiting for Hedgehog to release, and I'll be the one of the first people who will be testing it out, and hopefully the people that are listening to this particular podcast, they will be doing the same. So yeah, that's a wrap from my end. And if this podcast made you rethink about prediction markets, share it with people that are still calling it as a betting app or just gambling. And until next time, follow us on Twitter, Telegram, or whatever that suits you. And I'll see you in the next one.